But that can take us into John Jones versus Gustafsson. And it can take us in because when we looked at how Amanda Nunes beat Cyborg, we had a plan that could work, and we had the tools to do it, and we could do it today. Okay? We had the things necessary, and in those moments we could do it. And that's how you win, right? And that sounds simple, but I think I teased at the beginning that with John Jones and Gustafsson, I wanted to talk about sort of what is a game plan, or what are tactics, and what are strategies, and what is that? What is all that stuff? Because if I say, what's the game plan, you kind of know what I mean, and I kind of know what somebody else means, but we don't really. You know, for Greg Jackson, it's or Dwayne Ludwig, there are incredible complex layers of plans and sub-plans and second routes and back doors and reactions to reactions are all part of the spider web of the game plan. For other people, it's like, I don't study my opponent. I want to do the things I want to do. And what I want to do is establish my jab, push him against the cage, and work to get the takedown. For someone, that's a game plan. For somebody else, it's a complex web. And for somebody else, it's perform a certain way. So what am I getting at this? Where am I getting at here? If there was a game plan, if you could beat John Jones with a game plan, then Mark could beat John Jones, right? Yeah. I mean, if it's the game plan is the thing.
It's something to follow that'll get you to an end destination.
Yeah. That's a map.
Result. Yeah.
Like if I go up on Google Maps and I put in, you know, a Greek restaurant on the Danforth, this thing will lead me there. And I will be there eating delicious
souvlaki.
Souvlaki, yeah. Really fucking tasty with that, what's that sauce?
Tzatziki.
Tzatziki, yeah. Like we'll be dining on that stuff. And it'll all be great. Like, there's the game plan. Enter it into here, follow the instructions, eat souvlaki. Game plans are not like that when you fight John Jones. Because if there was, everywhere. You could beat John Jones. What's that?
So there's detours everywhere.
There's fucking detours everywhere. There's like, yeah, there's construction going on in there. There's fucking bombs going off and stuff. There's no fucking game plan to beat John Jones. Does that mean nobody can beat him? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But, and again, there was a couple times today we've talked about this. There's a question. We're going to do Ask Robin Black coming up. And then we're going to touch on TJ Dillashaw for 5 or 10 minutes versus Henry before we wrap today. But there's a question in here that we were chatting about before, and I was like, let's talk about it for 5 minutes, and it'll become an episode of Water. And this will too. And Water, sometimes we'll go and we'll get the whiteboard, and we'll map out some possibilities. But, you know, we got to break down, and it's different for everybody, and there's no definitive system of explaining the step-by-step game plan because it's art. That's like saying, how do you make an app, right? You start, there's work involved, these things, but every app is made differently. How do you paint a painting? What's the game plan to a painting? Well, some people get the thing measured out, design something, and some people literally throw feces on the board, right? I mean, this is art. Right? And it's like saying, how do you beat John Jones or how do you beat Amanda Nunes? Well, what's the game plan? Game plan itself is an undefined idea. That's what we're getting at. And I'm writing down a thought here because game planning, the art of game planning, that's going to be the next Water because I'm going to play around with that over the next couple of days because that just hit me as like, oh, fuck, that's cool. Because you can't just game plan and then make art. How do you make art? What's the game plan to starting to paint this picture? Well, for some people, we'll start with, an easel. What do you call the board that you paint on? What do you call it? Canvas. Then we'll select a canvas. Then we'll select colors. Then we'll select our tools and we'll paint. And that is definitely a game plan that some people take in painting. And other people are like, I'll find a broken something from piece of brick from the street and I'll like take a piss on it. And then, you know what I mean?
Just do.
Yeah. And you just do. But that's a game plan too. Game plan itself is not a thing. There's an art to even creating the game plan before you execute it, right? So it's a long, winding road, and that will be an episode of Water, and I'm really looking forward to it. But what's my point? Well, you're fighting John Jones. One of the key series of things you might like to accomplish, and that is a way some people do it. What are the things we'd like to accomplish? And one of them would be to create enough tension or pressure or busyness in John Jones' mind so that he has to focus on what's happening, not focus on learning and adjusting, right? However you want to phrase that. You know what I'm talking about. We want to make a scenario. Basically, we want to do the opposite of what Alex did in round 1. You want to get on him. You want to push to him. It's dangerous, of course. You want to engage him. You want to give him threats to deal with. You want to try to overwhelm his CPU. You want to give him as many possibilities as possible that the possibilities themselves become dealing with. Okay, is he kicking? Is he punching? Where is he going? Not that you think those things, but you have to deal with those things. What speed is he working at? What rhythm is he working at? What range does he want to play in? Is he moving forward or back? Is he aggressive? Is he patient? Why is his hands open? You cannot phrase these questions in your mind, but they have to be, they're real. It's all real, all there in front of you. If you do that to Jones, and please, ... If that's huge, that's a huge thing here. We'll come back to this. If you can do that to Jones, we might be able to prevent him from doing what he did in round 1, which is win the first 3.5 minutes of the round and then spend the next minute and a half and go back and watch that. I loved it. That last minute and a half of round 1. That guy did fuck all. Purposefully and brilliantly. You watch that, if you think back to that round, you're like, did Jones do nothing in the last minute and a half? He did nothing. He threw one left body kick from southpaw. And just before he threw it, I was watching with a producer at TSN before I went on the air. And I'm looking at it going, okay, now he moved that way, now he moved that way. He threatened just enough times, make it look. And as he moves there, he'll throw a left body kick, and all of it unfolded. Because with 3.5 minutes in, if I do nothing, I'll win. Better than doing nothing is make it look like I'm doing something and make him threatened. That minute and a half of nothing but a body kick, and it might only be 58 seconds, it might be a minute and 10 seconds, I don't know, but you'll see it when you go back. It's fucking brilliant, man. Once you're at the point now where I won the round, didn't have to do too much, have you worried about what's happening and can make the judges and almost everybody not notice that I didn't do a thing, but ride out the round and come out of there incredibly confident with my hand up? It's fucking brilliant. It's brilliant. It's a whole lot of, and it's so deceptive. It's like not many people looked at that and said, holy fuck, he's Jedi mind fucking all of us. And he did. And then from there, now he's got Gustafsson uncertain and hesitant. My friend Peter down the hall is Swedish, who's watching that fight. He loves Gustafsson, as you would, often cheer from people from your home country. And he's like, why didn't he? That takes us back to the if. If he can pressure him, if he can overwhelm him, if he can engage Jones's mind. The reason it's an enormous if, a giant fucking glowing in the middle of Times Square if, is because it's really fucking hard. And that's where we get to, what's the game plan? Well, it's this. Well, how the fuck do I do that when he's got a game plan too? And he's really good. And, I looked at it and I admired it at the time and I admired it last night and I played around with it this morning. And it's like, it's not just you versus me and your skills versus my skills and your game plan versus my game plan. It's all those things. What is it to outperform somebody? And that's what Jones did last night. He outperformed him. Well, made you not do the thing you wanted to do, which for Gustafsson was get Jones off his game in the first round. Did it in such a way that it won the round. Did it in such a way that I left round 1 with knowledge and the round, and I'm unhurt. And then you move into round 2. Now you got him at distance. You got him uncertain. There's this weird thing, and trust me on this. Anyone who's ever fought or coached or sparred even a fair bit, when you get to this point, I think we've talked about it before, and a lot of people have seen it, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Everybody's had this experience. If you're longer than I am, you got longer kicks and you got longer punches, I need to be inside. What I must do is go there. But there's this feeling of safety I get outside, and I'm unsafe because I'm closer to you doing something than I am. So I start to get out there where it feels safe, but it's unsafe. And Gustafsson did that. So now Gustafsson on the outside. So then John starts kicking his legs, and there's a few. Go back. Fuck. There was one or two in there. You're like, oh God.
The calf kicks.
Yeah. And the bones. If you've ever met John, like, I don't have anything. Like the bones of his legs are like
very, very
big
wiry.
and strong, and he's like got these long, powerful appendages that's like connected to it. He's built for this, right? He drives those things into your body. Now you're outside. You must get closer, but now it's harder to get closer because my leg's all fucked up. And then he starts kicking him in the body too, and there's a knee in the body, and he's playing around where you feel safe outside, and then he pops in with an elbow, and then you go back outside. Fuck, it's really unsafe close. It's safer out here. It's a lie. Your brain is telling you. Your brain is telling you a lie. It's trying to protect itself. It's like, fuck, I better get away from here. But your job is to get in there. You're trained to do it. You want to do it. You want to win. So you've got this brain trying to prevent you from doing the thing you need to do because of what John did to you. All this shit's going on.
And all the while, he's throwing those low kicks to set up the high kick.
Yeah. Now it's coming up here and it's going down there and I can't move back and it's dangerous in. He gets even closer. All of that's happening, right? How do you prevent that? Well, that time is long gone. Now, there you can make adjustments, things, catch them, all kinds of stuff. It's not a foregone conclusion. But the best time to prevent that was early when I tried to overwhelm John in this way with pressure and aggression, which Gustafsson had some of the key things necessary to do that. You know, experience being in with him so that he could start a little quicker sometimes for some people. You know, a swagger through leading up to it that we're going to deal with whatever and I'm going to get in and destroy him. He felt like what he believed. But here we are. We're 3.5 minutes in. We lost a round. He gives that last one away. He learned a bunch of shit. He's now comfortable. He's back in the game with a round in the pocket, knowing where I am. And now he's got me at distance. And now he's got my leg fucked. And now he's hurt my body. And now I better get in. But I don't know yet if I can. Bink! Takes me down. The whole plan, you know, and you talk about game plan, regardless of what the specifics were, and we'll talk about the art of game planning, and it is an art. If anybody tries to tell you a game plan happens like this, and these are the pillars or the ingredients of a game plan, it's for one team or person or coach, completely different for everybody else. A game plan is a fluid, ever-changing thing. And some people who used to coach back in the 90s will say, oh, game plans are like this. And somebody else will be, what's the game plan? Keep your hands up and chin down. And fuck, if you win, that was a good game plan, right? Like, it's an art form, the art of creating a plan. Then, it's a fully different art form, adapting, learning, you know, improvising, and all of these are different skills. If you can take John out of having those skills start to unfold, because as they do, his confidence gets bigger. Now you're hurt. He's confident. He's got, like, you can feel what I'm saying. Everything starts fucking snowballing.
You can feel the momentum shift. You just see.
Yeah. And momentum is not something you want to be a victim of. And you don't have to be. If you have a few things go wrong, you can approach the next thing. Doesn't have to be informed by those, right? Psychologically speaking, you know, getting 5 takedowns stopped doesn't need to inform you about the next takedown. You can approach it as its own unique moment. But it's hard. And certain other parts of momentum, like pain and damage to your body, some of those are unavoidable. That's great, sports psychology coach. I don't have to be a victim of momentum. But if my leg's all smashed, that's real. That's not a theory. Yeah. Right? So now leg smash, body smash, he's confident, it's all soaring, and he gets the takedown. All of that, if you sat down with whatever structure, whatever art form they lay out, what they'd like to accomplish, it was basically that. And that doesn't mean they had the better game plan. Because you know what the right game plan against it is? ABC or it's whether it's an ABCs or a 1, 2, 3s or a do re mi's, you know, like an artistic way to do it, a musical approach, whatever your approach is. There's a way to beat John Jones. And as I say that, there's an asterisk. Like, you also got to have your greatest night ever. Like, you also have to be just brilliant. But Gustafsson could have been. It's possible. There were scenarios in which he could do it. But game plans don't fight each other. Humans fight each other. And humans, programmed to approach things a certain way, they're still humans. Fucking John Jones is still standing there. He's still fucking kicking me. And like, holy shit. And I'm saying things like in interviews, I fought him last time. I was surprised how well, that he wasn't that strong and wasn't whatever. Holy fuck, I don't remember getting kicked like this. You're still a human being. You want to go forward. And that's the other thing. Maybe, there's plenty we could do here. There's plenty of discussion we could have forever about one of the greatest fighters ever in John Jones. But you need to beat a man on a night. It's your game plan ain't doing it, and your coach isn't doing it, and your team isn't doing it, and you want to. Yes, of course you thank the team because of how they prepared you, and of course later you say we came in with this game plan, and of course all of these things, but you still got to beat that guy today, and.
That's the scary part. Jones, for all intents and purposes, appears to be the best game day performer we've ever seen in the cage.
Yeah, so
we've never
deal
seen
with
him
that
on an off round.
Yeah, OSP he performed as he would explain it, and as others use in a sort of a cliche way to explain it is he performed down to the level of the opponent because that's all he needed to do, and it's not your job to fucking jumping spin kick somebody. It's your job to win and get back to fighting Cormier or whatever your goal was that night. He's on the day. It's like, fuck, man. Imagine that. Can he be beaten? Of course he can. All people can be beaten. Will he be beaten? Maybe not. If he stays too long, for sure he will. If he stays in the game too long. You still can be knocked out. A clean shot into the right place, delivered in balance. I mean, Cormier's knockout of Stipe, that moment, Jones has those moments too on the break where maybe there's a shot there, but he's usually the one getting it. Fuck, he's good, man. So good. So cool to see.
Yeah. It's just a shame that the light heavyweight division's not as stacked as the other ones for him to fight.
It was when he came along.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's already ran through everyone.
It was when he came along as a kid. Shit. But there'll be more. There'll be more, and
there has to be.
Yeah, there has to be, and the new ones come up with a knowledge that he has. The new ones come up with a understanding of what it is to perform in the moment, and what it is to overcome fear and anxiety, and what it is to face him, and just realizing you're facing a body type and a series of choices. You're not facing the greatest ever. Not tonight. It's just that. You certainly can't beat the greatest fighter ever if you think he's the greatest fighter ever. You've got to think you're beating him today. But amazing fight, and both of those were, and it was cool to see. But man,
it's a great way to end off the year.
Yeah, it really was. It was a really great way to end the year.